Hey everybody, JTO here, obviously. And yesterday, Vice President Joe Biden gave a speech in which he told a story of female-initiated proxy violence. And the story is about himself and some other children in his youth, but it's really about women. And everything about the story doesn't tell us about Joe Biden or necessarily about the other characters because the story might be entirely fabricated. What it tells us about is women. And I'll read you the article. It's on Daily Beast. I'm reading off my laptop screen here. This is written by Olivia Nuzzi, who looks like a 20-something-year-old blonde whatever. And the title of the story is Joe Biden, I'll Kill Your Son. In a speech Wednesday, the vice president recalled a moment from childhood when he smashed the head of a local bully and then threatened to kill him. Vice President Joe Biden said he once chased down a bully on a bicycle, physically assaulted him, and threatened to kill him, all in the name of protecting the honor of his sister Valerie. Honor? And bully? There's nothing in this story to indicate the kid that Biden assaulted when he was also a kid had actually done anything. Only his sister. Go get him! And sure enough, Joe went and got the guy. It continues. Biden, of course, is famous for being a bit loose in his public remarks, but these comments made Wednesday night in New York City were particularly unbound. The vice president was being honored by an organization called Vital Voices, a women's rights charity, at the event celebrating men who combat violence against women. Violence against women is a code phrase. They're talking about domestic violence. The reason they call it violence against women is to perpetuate the lie, and it is a lie. There's 30 or more years of research indicating that domestic violence is reciprocal, and that where it's non-reciprocal, women are the primary initiators. But they call it violence against women to keep everybody confused and to keep the money flowing. They don't want to stop violence. They need it to continue because that's where their money comes from. I can't hear that phrase without going into that little rant. Anyway, we'll continue. The vice president was being honored by Vital Voices, a women's rights charity, at an event celebrating men who combat violence against women. Biden spoke about standing up for women, both in his personal and professional lives. In doing so, the vice president delighted the audience. That's key. He delighted the audience with this story. With a personal anecdote from his childhood as Joey Biden. And the rest is in quotes. I remember coming back from Mass on Sunday, Biden began, always the big treat was we'd stop at the donut shop, we'd get donuts, and my dad would wait in the car. As I was coming out, my sister Valerie tugged on me and said, "That's the boy who kicked me off my bicycle." Just an accusation. The story doesn't even address or attempt to address whether the accusation had any truth to it. That's not even entertained. It's not even considered. So I went home, we only lived about a quarter mile away, and I got on my bicycle and I rode back, and he was in the donut shop. Biden remembered the boy was in a physically vulnerable position, leaning down on one of those slanted counters. Seeing his opportunity, Joe Biden pounced. I walked up behind him and smashed his head next to the counter. And he says, "I'm not recommending it." His father grabbed me and I looked at his son and said, "If you ever touch my sister again, I'll come back here and I'll kill your son." Now that was a euphemism. I thought I was really, really in trouble. My father never once raised his hand to any of his children, never once, and I thought I was in trouble. He pulled me aside and said, "Joey, you shouldn't do that, but I'm proud of you, son." Proud of going and physically assaulting a kid, basically sucker punching him when he wasn't expecting it, based on nothing except his sister who said, "He pushed me off my bike." Did that kid really do it? Is the story of the assault even real? Who knows? And it actually doesn't matter at all. The point of the story, Biden informed his audience as he accepted his Voice of Solidarity award, was that he was raised to know that it was necessary to speak up and speak out to correct wrongdoings. Full disclosure, the event was held at the headquarters of AIC, the corporate parent of the Daily Beast. It's the site where this article is written. Vital Voices in 2013 took over funds from the Women in the World Foundation, which originated at the Daily Beast. Fund. This is a fund. This whole charade is about money, obviously. In telling the tale of testosterone, yeah, they say testosterone because they want to make sure that you associate violence with testosterone. This is violence initiated by Joe Biden's sister, in case you haven't figured it out yet. And a truly American desire for justice. Justice? There's no mention at all. The story about the girl, the sister getting shoved off her bike had any reality to it, and I strongly doubt that there was any reality to that. In telling the tale of testosterone and a truly American desire for justice, joining to propel him on his bicycle to defeat the bad guy in the donut shop, the vice president appeared to merge with the Onion's caricature of him, achieving a moment of peak Biden, or the bro-like state of being visibly pleased with the degree to which you do not give a damn. It would be difficult to imagine another politician of Biden's stature telling this story. Biden, after all, is known for his unbuttoned comments from the podium. He described then-candidate Obama as the first mainstream African-American who is articulate and bright enough and a clean and nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man. Yeah, okay, so he speaks off the cuff. He told a black crowd, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on to recount some other gaffes that he's made. And this isn't a story about Biden's violence or some little kid back in the 60s or late 1950s getting beaten up by little Joey Biden. This is a story about the women at that event. A women's charity with an audience full of women, and the vice president, one of the most powerful guys in the world, possibly one of the most successful politicians in the world, knowing his audience and telling them the story that they want to hear, whether this story is true or not. The violence is probably true. Whether or not the sister got knocked off the bike, the story doesn't even attempt to address that. But Biden goes to this women's conference, or get an award from this women's organization, and tells them exactly the story they want to hear. About a girl saying, "I'm offended. Go kick somebody's ass." And good boy Joey Biden goes and does exactly what he's told. Goes and initiates violence against some kid whose back was turned. And then gets praised for it by his little daddy. This is about women. That story from a professional, highly skilled, highly successful politician telling a group of so-called respectable women exactly what they want to hear. That when they point their finger, Joe will go fuck up whatever man they've pointed their finger at. If women ruled the world, there'd be no war. I got news for you.